Well, I missed you guys last week. I really did. You know, it's funny how when you have been gone away from a place and then you come back, the colors are more vibrant and everybody just looks more beautiful to you. So I missed you last week. I got to spend the weekend with my nephew in Fort Worth, Texas. My husband and I flew there to be with him. He's a freshman at TCU, and we went to the football game. And oh my gosh, what a football game that was. It was so exciting. 3 overtimes. It actually almost made a football fan out of me. Almost. No, seriously, I enjoyed every minute of it. The band, the cheerleaders, being there at a college game. It was just really awesome. So we had a great time. And then on Sunday, Brian flew back here, and I flew to Houston to then drive to Galveston Beach, just about an hour south of Houston. And I spent 3 days of solitude in a friend's beach house. She just let me have it so that I could sit on the beach and walk on the beach and talk to God on the beach, and talk to the seagulls on the beach, and talk to the dogs that interrupted my meditation on the beach. The dog-to-person ratio is really high there. It's awesome. It's awesome, except for when you're in meditation, all of a sudden, this nose comes up and hits you on the back of the head, because they don't seem to believe in putting them on leashes, I noticed. But anyway, it was just a great experience. You know, it's part of my spiritual practice to get away ever so often just for a time of solitude. I like to do that 3 times a year. For a few days to just decompress, to let go. And I went off the grid. Folks. I had to take my beloved little iPhone, and I had to move all of a lot of the active screens over to the back screen so I wouldn't see them. So I wouldn't see any text messages that came in, or any emails, or any Facebook messages. And there was no TV. Sandy, you're whispering. Did I answer a text message? I don't think I did. No, really, I tried to. I just went off the grid. And it was wonderful, wonderful. And you guys look beautiful, so it's good to be back. So we're continuing today our series, Love for No Reason. And Love for No Reason is all about that pure kind of love that is not dependent on outer circumstance. It's really a state of being. It doesn't depend upon the person or the situation. It comes from within. It's a state of being. And this is based on Marcy Shimoff's book, Love for No Reason. Today we want to talk about approaching life from a whole new place of vision. Seeing life with new eyes, with God eyes, seeing through to the truth that is present. And many of you know, I brag about my husband all the time. You know, he's just one of the kindest and sweetest people I know, and he can really see through to the good in people, even in the good in me when it's not so apparently evident. And so the other day I was sitting there getting ready in the morning, and as I looked in the mirror, I was growing a little bit depressed because I saw a few more wrinkles than I'd seen before, a few more gray hairs, a few more pounds. And I looked at my husband because I knew I could count on him, and I said, honey, you know, I feel like I'm just falling apart. Can you say something good about me? He said, well, there's nothing wrong with your eyesight. Okay, he didn't really say that. But he did tell me the joke and suggested that I tell it to you. So I give him credit. Oh, gosh. But we're talking about a whole new view on life. And you know the way that Marcy Shimoff, I've learned the correct pronunciation of her name is with a long I, Marcy Shimoff. What she says is that the framework for moving into love for no reason is really to take time and focus on each of the 7 energy centers of the body. We call them chakras, the 7 energy centers. And so we've been moving our way from the first chakra of safety and security all the way up. Now we are to the 6th chakra, which is right here. You can even touch it. It's sometimes called the 3rd eye. It's right between your eyebrows. And this particular energy center of the body is where you are able to see through and past the outer appearances into the deep truth. See through and past the outer appearances and through to the deep Christ, the love that is present within everyone. And that's what we want to talk about today. She calls it the doorway to vision. And this particular chakra is at the center of the forehead, right between your eyebrows. Sometimes it's called the third eye. It represents and includes the brain and the neurological systems, your eyes, your ears, your nose, that whole area. And the sacred truth of this chakra is all about seeing the truth, truth with a capital T, to be able to see the truth beyond the facts of a situation, the truth beyond the outer. It's about your wisdom. It's about when you know the truth, when you know that you know that you know. That is part of this particular chakra. And so she says that one of the first keys to unlocking this doorway to vision, to this vision of truth, is to honor your intuition, to honor the wisdom that is within you. Now, I know some of you say, I don't really have intuition. You know, there are other people more spiritual than I are. They get guidance, they have intuition, but I don't. But the truth is, everyone does. There are times when you know something and it may fly in the face of facts, or you know something and you don't know how you know it, you just know it. A decision is presented to you and you just know the decision to take. And what I'm encouraging you to do today is to honor that first instinct. Sometimes we'll talk ourselves out of it by the facts, but you have to continue to listen in to spirit to determine if what you're hearing really is the voice of intuition, the voice of wisdom. And that comes from a place that's not a rationally minded place. There was some research done by HeartMath, and by, in particular, a Dr. Roland McCready. And in this research, they called together subjects, and they showed them a series of images. And they had them all, wired up like they do in tests like this to measure their heart rate and measure other biological systems of the body. And so they would show them these images one at a time, and most of the images were peaceful, neutral kinds of images, but some were disturbing. And they found a fascinating thing. What they discovered is that 6 to 7 seconds before the disturbing image was shown, a person's heart registered it. They noticed activity in the heart 6 to 7 seconds prior to seeing the disturbing image. And what that says is that you see there's a wisdom and an intelligence in you that goes beyond what you're supposed to know. Though, of course, it really is what you're supposed to know. And McCready says about intuition that intuition is the voice of the higher self coming through the heart to the brain. The higher self coming through the heart and then to the brain. You see, one of the reasons that I like to take my time away, my time alone, is because it clears away all the outer stimuli and lets me just listen into that voice of intuition, that voice of wisdom, that voice of the heart. And I recommend this as a spiritual practice to you to consider too. You may not this week have 3 days to go away and be on a beach somewhere. I understand we're not close to any real beaches right here. But nevertheless, what you can do is schedule an hour this week where you would go off the grid yourself. I have a friend that does it every Monday. That's her day off. And every Monday, she goes off the grid, if you will, so that she's not interrupted by all the outer kinds of things. But you might just choose an hour every week to do that because it clears your mind. When you come back to whatever it was you were dealing with before, you'll have insights and intuitions that may surprise you. Things are clearer when you do that. So this first key to the doorway of vision is to honor your intuition. And people ask, well, how do I know, Patricia, that it is the voice of my intuition or my higher self and not just random thoughts moving through my head? Well, when you're feeling your intuition, your first feeling will be one of peace, or it'll be a yes. And then you may talk yourself out of it because you think about what other people will say. You may talk yourself out of it because you think the facts don't support it. But you want to tap into that first feeling. And if it is a sense of peace, if it is a sense of assuredness, then very likely that is your intuition talking to you. So honor that voice in you. Just play with it. Just pay attention to it. That's really all you want to do here. Just pay attention to it. That's honoring it. Now, the second key that she talks about in order to open this door of vision, a vision of truth, is to see the beauty, to make a choice to see the beauty in everyone, to make a choice to see the world with God's eyes, or you might say a mother's eyes, right? You know, a mother sees through to the beauty in her child no matter what boneheaded thing they do, right? A mother sees through to that. And God sees through. God sees past the outer to see the beauty. So we're talking about making a commitment to see through to the beauty of the world and the beauty of the people in your life. About a week and a half ago, I was in a coffee shop, and the person who was making my coffee had this scowl on his face. Just a scowl. I mean, and it was as if his face was permanently etched with a scowl on it. And I thought he must be irritated or having a bad day. But then as I continued to watch, I noticed his interactions with the people around him, and they were perfectly pleasant interactions. He was in a perfectly good space. You could tell it. It just so happened that his facial features and the wrinkles on his face, they just formed a scowl. But that was not the truth of him. Now, had I hurriedly got my coffee and left, I would never have stayed to notice that there was another essence to him, that he was not in a bad place. And it's an interesting thing about judging a book by its cover, if you will. You just see the surface. But if you will make the intention to be willing to see more deeply, then you will see more deeply. You know, Jesus talked over and over and over about love and forgiveness, right? Love and forgiveness, love and forgiveness, love and forgiveness. All the time he did, because it's that important. And when we judge people, we create a separation between ourselves and others. I love, you know, he talked about it a lot, but in particular, in the book of Luke, I want to speak where he spoke about that passage that says, take the log out of your own eye. You've heard that one. He says, do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. And then listen up. He says, why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to your neighbor, friend, let me take out the speck in your eye, when you yourself do not see the log in your own eye? So what is the log in your eye? What is the log in your eye? Well, on the surface, it's the judgment that you're making. But here's the thing that I've noticed about judgment, is that when we judge somebody else, it's really something usually that also exists in us. That's why we're judging it. And there's been research to suggest also that one of the reasons we leap to judgment has to do with the neural pathways of our brain. See, if you experience a particular significant occurrence early in life, it forms a pathway in your brain. And then if you experience something today that's ever so slightly similar to that, you'll fall right back into that same neural pathway. Even though today's situation may only be somewhat similar, it triggers all of the history. So you could say that that log in your eye that keeps you from really seeing the other person may well be linked to something that happened decades ago, but it is triggered by something in the now moment. I believe that the reason that Jesus spoke so much about the need to forgive and about not judging is that when we do judge others, we are cutting off ourselves from part of God's creation. You know, think for a moment about creation. And nobody knows exactly how it unfolded, but here's my vision of how creation happened. My vision is that there was God. And God wanted to know more of itself. And so God extended itself, expanded itself. And in that expansion was born all the creation that we see. God extended itself into you and into me and into the people that you see. So everyone is an extension or an expression of God. So if I harbor a judgment against someone else, I'm harboring a judgment against God. I'm cutting off literally a piece of myself, because we're all one in this God creation, this infinite God creation. The Course in Miracles says that judgment and love are opposites. That judgment and love are opposites. And that one creates all sorrows, and the other creates peace. So when we judge, we're creating sorrows and separation for ourselves. And when we love, we're bridging those. And the other thing that the Course in Miracles says is that when you step into a place of forgiveness for someone, or you let go of the judgment, you say to yourself, I am willing to see this person with eyes of love. In that moment, there's a healing. And it's for both of you. It's not just for the other person, it's for both of you. And it doesn't matter if the forgiveness is just forgiving a clerk in a store who's been a little rude to you, or if it's forgiving a friend who's really betrayed you. When you're able to say, I am willing to see this with eyes of love, I am willing to forgive, in that moment, a miracle happens. So we are presented, you and I are presented with miracles every single day, every single moment. I mean, you won't get out of this church building today without an opportunity to be a part of a miracle where you would have judged and where you choose love instead. And so the key about this third eye, if you will, that calls us to see the truth with a capital T, is that we are called to love. We are called to see the world with loving eyes. And it is a choice. It is a choice. And it starts by saying, I am willing. I am willing. I'm willing to see this differently. You know, part of what we're talking here really is the mission statement of Unity Church of Overland Park. You know our mission statement. It says that we are here to awaken and express the Christ nature in ourselves, our families, our community, and the world. In other words, we're here to see the Christ in others. We're here to see the Christ in somebody who doesn't seem to be behaving particularly Christ-like. But when we as a community go out into the world and dedicate ourselves, like these new members have today, to seeing the Christ in others, to being the Christ, to being our Christ nature, that's when we become a beacon of light for the world, when we shine our light. You know the expression that we use often in Unity, it's a Hindu expression originally, the namaste, where you fold your hands and namaste. It can be translated, the divine in me bows to the divine in you. Or the Christ in me beholds the Christ in you. The Christ in me beholds the Christ in you. So from my highest self, I see through to the highest that is in you, the beauty that you are. And that helps us to see the truth in any situation. Truth which is separate from facts. Truth which is separate from facts. Marcy Shimoff talks about being with the Dalai Lama one time, being with His Holiness the Dalai Lama in a relatively small group setting. And he made everybody feel comfortable. That's just who and what he is. And he said that he treats everyone the same. He said differences in religious beliefs, politics, social status, and position are all secondary. When we look at someone with compassion, we are able to see beyond those secondary differences and connect to the primary essence that binds all humans together as one. When I read that quote, I thought to myself, boy, don't we have an opportunity before us right now here in the midst of election season? I mean, honest to goodness, is anybody else as exasperated as I am? I mean, I'm just exasperated. I'm exasperated because just this last week, I heard 2 sound bites that were quoted on different political parties, different offices actually that people were running for. And when I heard those sound bites, I thought, oh, that's awful. Did anybody really say that? And then in each case, I had the opportunity to hear more deeply and to hear the whole conversation in which that particular soundbite was said. It didn't mean anything like the way it was represented. I'm frustrated with the media and how they're representing things. I'm frustrated that they are not, advertisements should be used to show what a candidate stands for and how they represent something different from what the opposing candidate stands for. So there's all manner of frustration in me. And guess what? In 2 weeks, we're going to come back here and it's going to all be over. Well, actually, it's not going to all be over, because in 2 weeks is when the real work begins. You see, some of you are going to come into this room and you're going to be really happy that candidates you voted for won. And some of you are going to be frustrated, angry, sad that candidates you voted for did not win. But that's when our work begins, because that's when all of us can choose to make a difference. There's going to be forgiveness work to be done. Forgiveness work for the people that created the ads, forgiveness work for the candidates that let the ads run, forgiveness work for the bashing. Here's the thing, they create this schism, and then they're going to have to work together. Well, we can help. We can model, we can help. You and I can choose to see through to the truth. We can choose to move into forgiveness. We can choose to move beyond the schism into something different. It's the gift that we get to offer if we choose to. And it is a choice, and it is a choice. There's another action step that I want to share with you today, and it's something called a loving kindness meditation, sometimes called a metta meditation. It's a Buddhist practice. We're going to talk about it now, and then when we do our meditation after the message, we'll actually experience it. So the way that this meditation works is that we are to behold the whole world with loving kindness. And we start with ourselves. And so we wish for ourselves loving kindness. And there are different formats to this prayer, but the one that I will use today says, "May I be well. May I be happy. May I be free of suffering. May I be at peace." And then you call into your awareness someone besides yourself, and you pray for someone who is a mentor or a spiritual teacher or a teacher of some sort for you. And you pray for that person. And you think in your mind and in your heart, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be free of suffering, may you be at peace. And then you move outward a little further and you call into your heart someone that you really love, that you really care about. And again, you pray, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be free of suffering, may you be at peace. And then you call into your heart someone who's difficult, someone that, you've all got somebody who's a little difficult, and maybe it's not somebody you've even met. Maybe it's one of those political candidates, but somebody who causes you to have a charge, an energy charge. So then you pray for that person. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free of suffering. May you be at peace. And finally, you pray for the whole world. You just envision the whole world, people all around the planet. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free of suffering. May you be at peace. And so you can do this two ways. You can do it all in one meditation time. You can take 20 minutes a day and move right through that practice. Or you can take 20 minutes for a week or a month and just work on step one, which is you. Just take time to really take in the blessing of loving kindness for yourself for as long as it takes. And then the next week or the next month, you move into praying for your teacher, your mentor, your spiritual guide. And then you move on from there. You take as long as it takes with each segment. So you can do it any way you want to. But this meditation will help you to see through to the good, see through to the beauty that is at the center of each person. So every week in our Fall Faith Journey, we have an affirmation that we speak, a prayer statement that I invite you to hold for the week. It's listed in your bulletin. Also, we have our affirmation cards in the brochure racks in the lobby. And I'd like us to speak this together. It's also on the screens behind me. I am holy, and I see the world through the holiness that I am. And let's speak that again. I am holy, and I see the world through the holiness that I am. Do you see the importance of starting with yourself? Because as you bless yourself in the meta meditation we're going to do, as you bless yourself, as you see your own holiness, then you'll be able to see it in others. Then you'll be able to truly forgive them, because your own safety, your own well-being will not be at risk. As you see the holiness that you are, then you can bring out the holiness that is in others. And I know that when I talk about forgiveness, I know that there are acts, heinous acts that are unthinkable. And some of you have been a part of such actions. And forgiving yourself or forgiving someone else makes no rational sense. But what I want you to know is that that act of forgiveness, you see, I think that's why we're here. We're here to be in relationship with each other, so that when we forgive and love another, that's when we grow. I'm not saying we're here to have those heinous acts committed upon us. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that every experience in our life has the opportunity to be a miracle if we allow ourselves to bring love to it. Many years ago, it's been, 5 or 6 years ago, I suppose, I had the opportunity to be on the peace train. This was something that was organized by the Association for Global New Thought. And they brought in a number of peace luminaries. And you could move from car to car on this train and sit in a train car with one of these peace luminaries. And I had the opportunity to be in the car with Yolanda King, who was the daughter of Martin Luther King Jr. And while I was there with her that day, somebody asked, "Do you feel a pressure, an obligation to carry on your father's great work?" And she thought for a minute and she said, "It's not a pressure. When you grew up in a family like I did, it's part of who you are." And she gave us an example. She told about how when she was only 19, her grandmother was shot and killed in church. Her grandmother, Alberta King, you see, Alberta and her husband, Yolanda's grandparents, had been the spiritual leaders of a church. Her grandfather was the minister, and her grandmother was the music director. And one day, in the middle of a church service, a man stood up and shot Yolanda's grandmother. The very next day, her grandfather went to the prison where the shooter was being held. And he went into the man, and he sat down, and he looked upon him, and he said, "I don't understand you, but I forgive you." And Yolanda told us that story, and she said, so when you grow up in a home like that, you don't feel a pressure to be anyway. You just know what is yours to do. Every time you choose love over judgment, you perform a miracle. It's a miracle in your heart and a miracle in the other heart. Every time. It starts by saying, I am willing. I'm willing to see this differently. And that's when you become a light for the world. So now we're going to move into a time of meditation. I invite you to just relax where you are. Breathing into your heart center. Invite the holiness that you are to remind you just how special you are. To call forth the love that is true about you. And I invite you to allow my words to be the words of your own heart. Dear God, may I be well. May I be happy. May I be free of suffering. May I be at peace. And now I invite you to call into your awareness a person who's been a teacher for you, a mentor. It may be someone that you've not even met, but their life has so inspired you that you are different. And now we speak to this person. May you be well, dear one. May you be happy. May you be free of suffering. May you be at peace. And now I invite you to bring into your awareness someone you love, anyone that you love, the first person whose face comes into your mind. Bring them into your heart and bless them with loving kindness. Dear one, may you be well. May you be happy. May you be free of suffering. And may you be at peace. And now a person that you find difficult. Call them into your awareness so that you can bless them with loving kindness too. Dear one, may you be well. May you be happy. May you be free of suffering. And may you be at peace. And now for the whole world we pray. Envision this planet of ours and all the people in different countries of different faith traditions, faces and names you do not know. And to each and every one, now we pray. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free of suffering. And may you be at peace. Dear God, remind us of the holiness that we are now and always.
my soul. Let me know all is good, holy, holy. Let's sing together, all good. All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good, holy, holy. All love. All love, holy, holy. All love, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is love, holy, holy. All one. All one, holy, holy. All one, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is one, holy, holy. All God. All God, holy, holy. All God, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is God, holy, holy. All good. All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know